What is up, YouTube? How's everybody out there doing today? I hope you guys are having a fabulous freaking day. We have something really cool on the dyno today. It is a 1968 Chevy Chevelle with a very nice Blueprint Engines BPE 427 LS3 heads, nice decent cam in it, in the car. And it is a 6-speed car too, by the way, guys. So 6-speed, 9-inch rear end. Very nicely done swap on this thing. And we're going to be seeing what power it makes. Now this is the 605 optioned BPE engine in this car. So they say it made 630 on the engine dyno at their facility, but I guess around 605 is what they advertise. We're going to get this thing on the roller. We're going to check it out, see what she puts down, make sure air fuel's tight and the spark is good, and see if we can make some more power out of it and have a little fun with this beautiful car. But I hope you guys are freaking excited to see some pulls with this guy. Let's get her started. So very first pass, 458, 484 torque out of this 427 setup. We are running a little lean in the beginning, as you guys can see, and a little rich on the back side. 12.5s, 12.5s. So not too shabby. Does have Iridium Champion plugs in it. We're going to be swapping them out for NGKs. We're going to do another pass and we're going to see if it changes anything, and then we're going to start tuning the car. There's no point in tuning it with these Iridium plugs in there, mainly because of the fact that we're just going to run into issues anyways. So as you guys can see here, we definitely had some spark knock on the top end recording here. So we're hoping the NGK kind of cleans that up and maybe it'll make a little bit more power. So this would be kind of like an interesting test between the Champions and the Champion Iridiums and the NGK TR6s, which is what we're going to be putting in here once they show up from the parts store. And then we're going to do another pass, see what it does, and then we're going to tune it and see what we can actually get out of this thing safely. So let's go. So I got to show you this because this is just pure amazement, to be honest. All we did was spark plugs. We went from the Iridium Champion plugs to an NGK TR6 plug in this 427. And look how this all turned out. Went from 458 to 491 at a higher RPM, 484 to 499 torque. Air fuel basically stayed the same. Still a little lean. We're going to fix that. Not a big deal. I think it'll actually make a little bit more power. We took it to right before 6, so I think it actually would make 5 on the next pull, but we are going to start dyno doing this. But it just goes to show you how important the correct spark plug is for your LS car. Made a bunch of changes. We're going to go ahead and do another pass. Check spark knock and air fuel and go from there. But we're at 153, so we got to warm it up a little bit. So on that pass we made 500 foot-pounds of torque and a little bit less horsepower, 487. but that air fuel line is looking perfect. So we adjusted the air fuel, took out, it's on the richer side, so we took some fuel out, and we added 2 degrees of spark to it, timing. We're gonna see what we can do here. See if it makes any more. It is kind of hot, so after this pass we're gonna let it cool down and then do another pass. But it is getting kind of hot. Not hot like overheating hot, but hot in the sense of like 190s, 195 temperature. Like for example, right now it is 178. By the time we do this pass, it'll probably be 190. That's a good pass. 498,504, guys. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that. 498,504 torque. Look at that. I think this thing wants timing. No spark knock. I think it's going to want some timing. It's at 25 or 26 degrees right now, so we're going to make a few more adjustments. Made some progress, leaned it out a little bit, added some timing, did some other little tricks of the trade, I guess you would say, and we ended up with 504 horsepower, 511 foot-pounds of torque. As you can see, it ran a little lean on the top end, above 5,000, so we're going to add fuel back into there, but below that, below 5,000, 13 O's, pretty much all the way across the board. So it's very healthy. It's very, very healthy. I'll be honest with you, the craziest part about this entire dyno session today was just the amount of power we gained by switching out the spark plugs. That's crazier to me than anything else, honestly. So we're gonna give her a couple minutes, let her cool down. We got the new changes uploaded in the ECU, and then we're gonna make another pass and see what happens. See if we can make a little bit more horsepower, but I think we might be tapped out at this point, but we will see. Now this is going through a 9-inch too, guys, so people on the internet that want to talk about numbers, it is a 6-speed going through a 9-inch with 410 gears. Hopefully you heard all that. Guys, that was a good backup run. It was a little cooled down, but not like, it was like a 5-minute cool down session. So we had no spark knock, which is good. So spark knock's completely gone. We might end up adding a little bit of timing, I don't know, we'll see. But as you can see, my air fuel mixture has definitely richened up by the blue line there. Let's get the it made a little less horsepower, a little less torque. but it was hot, so I'm not going to complain about that. Well, there you go. Last pull, pulled up to 5,800, 13.0, 12.8, 12.9, 13.1, 13.1, 13.1. We might add a tad bit more fuel, probably about 1% to get that to a 12.9, 13.0 air fuel ratio, but it's actually a pretty safe air fuel ratio with the E85 in the gas, which is the 93 octane has up to 10% E85, so you can run a little tad bit leaner than 13.0. Plus, like I said, I'm not seeing any spark knock or anything, so I feel it's pretty safe, to be honest. But we are going to add a tad bit more fuel just in that area above 5 grand, bring it back down closer, probably add some more timing, and let it cool down a little bit longer, and then do a final one done pass. If we get like 505 or 503 or 504, probably numbers ain't going to change from there. We're going to be done beating on this car, and we're going to call it quits on it, and that'll be our final number. So let's give her a good cool down, change those settings, and go from there. All right, ladies and germs, these are probably going to be our last 2 passes on this car. I'm going to do a cool pass, so I'm going to get the temperature up to like 160. The motor's been cooling down for a little bit, so I'm going to get it down to like up to like 160, 165, maybe 170. Do a pull, see what our fuel is, what spark is, make sure we don't have any issues, and we don't have any issues. I'm going to immediately do a hot pass right after that cool down pass. I'm going to do a hot pass back to back. It should be like 185, 190, 195 at that point. And we're going to compare, and hopefully our air fuel ratio and our spark knock is all good to go. So here we go. .509, 513, no spark knock. We're going to do a hot pass now. We're at 190. Temperature. Alright guys, let's see what happened. Here we go. So let's get our 3 passes off the screen here. Let's get our last 2 passes. Our code pass, which was, the temperature was 165, 509, 513. Air fuel ratio is looking perfect. Look how flat that air fuel ratio is. 13 O's, buddy. 13 O's. Now, our hot pass. Temperature makes a big difference, guys. Temperature makes a big difference. It went from 509 to 495 and 513 to 502 torque, still above 500 foot-pounds of torque, which I'm happy about. And as you can see, as it warmed up, it got a little bit richer at 12.8 instead of 13.0, which is still a very, very, very safe air fuel, very safe air fuel ratio for this this good old Chevelle. But still, 500. Listen, 500 wheel freaking car, 500 foot-pounds torque car, all day, every day, hot or cold, doesn't matter. I mean, you can't beat that, guys. You can't go through a 9-inch and a 6-speed. You really can't beat that, guys. So yeah, we're done. Everything looked good on the scanner. Freaking, I saved the tune. Everything looking good. I'm very, very happy with the numbers compared to what we came from, which was actually let's go here. Close this out. So number 2 was our run with the old spark plugs, the iridiums. All right. So that was the iridiums and no changes to the tune whatsoever. To number 8, which was our highest. Look at the difference, guys. Look at the freaking difference of that graph. With air fuel being slightly you know, checked back in. Spark tables being redone a little bit better. It picked up more horsepower at a higher RPM, more torque at a higher RPM. Like, this is a whole new machine, guys. And it picked it up throughout the entire RPM range. Look at that. The entire RPM range, all the way up to max. And it carried it longer. Look at that. That's amazing. That's progress. Well, guys, that's it for this video. We're going to end it. I'm very, very happy with the numbers. I'm sure everybody over in the other shop's going to be happy with the numbers as well. But yeah, guys, freaking awesome. Good old Chevelle with a blueprint engine in it. Not bad. Not bad. Now, this gentleman will be back for more dyno tuning in the future, and I'll tell you why. The intake that's on here, the LS3 intake that's on here, is not going to be staying on the car. He's actually going to be getting... Who is banging over in the other freaking shop? He's actually going to be getting a Hurup. Actually, he already got the Hurup intake, whatever you want to call it. He's already gotten it, and he's doing some things before he puts it on, but he'll be installing that intake with the independent throttle bodies, and then we're going to be putting this thing back on the dyno again and seeing what the difference is in horsepower and making any necessary adjustments that we have to make to the tune in order for the Hurup intake system to work correctly on this 427 blueprint engine. So there you go, guys. Hope you're all happy. I made a car video instead of a golf cart video. You know, whatever. Anyway, subscribe, share, follow, subscribe, share, follow, and link in the description below for Gentek if you need dyno tuning. We do that here. Deuces.